This is Vigilant Liberty Radio News from Independent Journal Review for January 7th. Former Virginia Governor Bob McDonnell has been sentenced to 2 years in prison on corruption charges. The prosecution sought a 10-year sentence, but after requests by associates and family of McDonnell, the judge issued the 2-year sentence instead. During his time as Virginia's governor, McDonnell and wife reportedly received bribes including a $6,500 Rolex, designer clothing worth $20,000, and free vacations. In exchange for these gifts, McDonnell promoted materials made by a company called Star Scientific Incorporated. McDonnell and his wife are scheduled to report to prison in February, but McDonnell plans to appeal his conviction. John Boehner was re-elected Speaker of the House for a third term after facing a rare divided vote in the House of Representatives. The last time this many people voted against a majority party Speaker nominee was in 1860, when Republicans split their vote between John Sherman of Ohio and Galusha Grow of Pennsylvania. Boehner's victory comes after reports he would retaliate against anyone who moved against his re-election. A total of 24 members of the House voted against Boehner, but Boehner still received 216 votes. Senators Chuck Grassley and Patrick Leahy have written a letter to the Department of Justice and Department of Homeland Security questioning the FBI's use of stingrays and the scope of exceptions in FBI policy. That policy requires the FBI obtain a warrant before using a cell site simulator or fake cell phone tower, commonly known as a stingray. However, the policy has several exemptions, including cases that pose an imminent threat, cases involving a fugitive, or cases in which the technology is used in public places or where the FBI deems there is no reasonable expectation of privacy. Senators Grassley and Leahy question the scope of the exceptions in their letter. The FBI is not the only government agency using stingrays. The IRS, DEA, ICE, Secret Service, and local police departments have purchased the devices, leading some states and cities to ban their use without a warrant. After a new law in California allowed an estimated 1.5 million illegal immigrants to apply for driver's license effective January 1st, officials in Sacramento are now concerned these new drivers will be lacking auto insurance. This has led the state to open up the decade-old California Low-Cost Auto Insurance Program, or CLCA. This allows drivers to purchase insurance through the state. Auto insurance is required by California law for anyone who owns a vehicle. Advocates argue the plan will help reduce financial risk and insurance costs for all drivers. Critics say the CLCA program has not convinced uninsured drivers to obtain insurance and that the rate of uninsured motorists has held steady for the past 10 years. It is estimated approximately 4.1 million drivers in California do not have auto insurance. This is Amy Curtis with your Vigilant Liberty Radio News from Independent Journal Review for January 7th.
Of 2014, number 37, just below the esteemed George Will, is our guest, Michael Schaus. Michael, congratulations, man.
Hey, thank you. Apparently George Will paid more than I did to get on that list, I think.
Oh.
I saw that, Schaus, I saw that he just barely edged you out, though.
No, I know. It was kind of exciting, actually. It was, yeah, it came as a surprise. John Ransom, who...
It's awesome. Congrats.
Now, is this, Schaus, is this one of those deals, like I get an email like every third day that I could be included in one of the, top businessmen of America book compendium deals, and all I have to do is send him $150 and my name gets put in there? Is this one of those things?
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
I get one of these deals every week, every few days, where the top businessmen in America or something like that. And if I
Dude,
just,
you know what you're doing, you're asking the question, like, high school parents of the high school kids who they think are geniuses pay to have them listed in who's who in America, right? That's what you're talking about.
that's exactly right. It's a who's who of American businessmen. I even got one once that was who's who of Hispanic American businessmen, which was funny. Anyway, joking around aside, man, congratulations on that. Now that we do have a big fat brain like you on the line, uh, we have deferred a conversation today about what happened in the House yesterday with John Boehner and the speakership and the votes and all that for a guy like you to get on and set us straight to what actually happened as far as the vote for the speakership. What's the deal?
I got to tell you, there's good news and bad news. The bad news is we did not get to see John Boehner cry, and that's very upsetting. I wish you would have. The good news is that we had almost double the amount of people oppose John Boehner this year than last year, which means that there's a growing sense, at least within the House, that the old ways of doing things might be headed out the window.
So was this they were a few votes short of stopping what they needed to do. And, Trey Gowdy apparently was on an airplane, and he had already said that he was going to vote for Boehner, et cetera. Was this a setup deal to make it look? I mean, I'm so cynical right now, Michael, that I see that they got almost close enough. And my instinct is there was some sort of discussion ahead of time. Hey, you 24 guys, you vote against him, and that'll get us really close, and it'll show that this Congress is a bunch of fighters, but we're still all on board with the, what, I mean, am I just making up stuff?
I think we just lost him. Jessica's calling him back. Dude, listen, they needed 29. They needed 29 votes to force a second ballot. And votes are counted, man. I mean, votes are counted. Sometimes they do test votes in Congress, as it relates to bills. But as well as I do, that the Boehner forces counted the votes, as did the other side, and they had that all figured out ahead of time.
So, but was it a setup? Are the numbers that were used?
Which numbers?
The 24 guys and the people. I mean, here's the thing, Michael was just pointing out, and I put up an article yesterday from on our blog that it was, the most vocal opposition in 100 years for a returning speaker. Is that real or is it fake?
No, I think it's real. I think, to the point that Michael made, and he's back with us now, and let him weigh in with his thoughts. But double. I mean, this goes back how long? No, there is real opposition to Boehner and his crew, and this notion of folding up like a cheap lawn chair to Barack Obama. Boehner goes out. He sounds like Barney Fife at the podium, storms away, puffs his chest out, and at the end of the day, he folds up. And I think genuinely, there is, and of course, Republicans excellent at airing their laundry, if you will, in public. But now it's a genuine rift. I don't think it's going to be set up at all. Michael Schaus, what do you think?
Okay, this is so awesome. Can you hear him?
No.
We've got the 37th best conservative columnist on the planet Earth on the line, and we can't hear him.
But we think like he does. So, at least you and I are, small potatoes, but we, but dude, I mean, why would you think it's, we're working on the technology as we speak, but what is behind your, is it a setup question?
I don't know. I'm so cynical. I was listening to.
I am too.
I went on a bike ride yesterday. Spent an hour riding on the bike, working out, and I was listening to Mark Levin's Monday show. Yeah. And Levin was accurately pointing out that as much as we are holding Barack Obama to, $7 billion, or excuse me, $7 trillion of added debt in the last 6.5 years or whatever.
Right.
Boehner has been Speaker of the House for 4 years. So approximately $4 trillion of this debt has come under his leadership, and the House is where the spending bills originate. So,
no, I mean, I get that, and I agree with Levin, as do you. But I'm still missing the connection to the setup thing. Maybe this is just me not being sharpest crayon in the box.
well, I'm just wondering if I'm just kind of wondering if this conservative insurgency is real, or if it's an apparent astroturf insurgency to placate those of us on the right that are part of that, 1/3 that are ready to bolt the Republican Party.
I get it. Absolutely not. I mean, an AstroTurf reference, obviously Nancy Pelosi, but absolutely not, dude. I mean, Cruz, Scott Walker, Mike Lee, Ted Yoho. You know what these people believe and how passionate they are about it. Not at all. I mean, listen, I don't know how many dozen Republicans are going to run in 2016, but I think it's going to be a bloodbath, because you're going to have people like Jeb, who might as well be John Boehner, and others, and then versus again, Cruz and whomever else. No, I don't think it's a setup at all. I mean, I think it portends things to come in 2016, let alone between now and then in Congress.
Well, let me ask the question a different way. I saw a poll that something like 2/3 of Republicans want Boehner replaced.
Right.
If that's the case, why did only 24 Republicans vote against him for Speaker of the House? I mean,
here's my simple answer, and it's the same one I gave last time. It's the same thing as it relates to opposing Hillary. These people get in these positions. And let me digress a second. If anyone doesn't think that there are Democrats in the House that wish Nancy Pelosi would go the hell away, then I don't think they know what they're talking about or thinking. Same thing relates to Hillary Clinton. I've said it multiple times. There are people that would love for the Clintons to ride off into the sunset, never to be seen again. But as we said yesterday, if you're going to stage a coup, you better kill the king or the queen, or there's going to be hell to pay. And I think the same thing applies here as it relates to Boehner, man.
Yeah, okay. So do we have Schaus back?
We did, but he hung up. Hold on a second.
Yeah, okay, fine. He's in a phone booth, we're in a phone booth, but we'll keep talking, So Hausum, I mean, I really do believe that. I just think that these people get not only entrenched in Congress for years. I mean, just look at Charlie Rangel and any number of people on both sides of the aisle. But then also to an extent when they get in leadership positions, you got the loyal guard, you got the second ring of defense, and then you got the minority outliers. They are as fervent and probably more so, the conservatives, the real conservatives, than are Boehner and his crowd. But it's a game for sure. But I know for sure also it's not a show. I mean, there's a lot of pissed off conservatives in this Congress, not only in the country, as you related the 2/3 majority of Republicans who wanted Boehner to be fired.
Okay, hey, it looks like we've got Schaus back on. So, Michael, we've just kind of conjectured what you were going to say about it. So here's the question. What kind of blowback, if any, do you think these 24 congressmen are going to get for leading the fight against Boehner?
Well, that's you're going to have to wait and see, I guess. Boehner he kind of strikes me as the type of guy that will not necessarily do a whole lot, except he has already, taken it out on 2 people? Did I read that somewhere?
Yes, I was just going to say that. It's already started. He's taken out 2 people and I don't have the story in front of me, but in powerful positions on committees. The retribution has already begun.
Yeah, it's already begun, and I think you're going to see a little bit more of that. That being said, he